Okay, hold up. Julie actually did the unthinkable. A third apology. Live, unscripted. And for once, it didn't sound like it was written by a PR intern being held hostage in the basement of a K-pop agency.
Welcome back, y'all. It's Rosieri. Welcome back, y'all. It's Rosieri. Capisce?
I don't know what kind of cursed timeline we're living in, but every time I take a tiny little break, just a sip of peace, just one nap, the K-pop industry and netizens join forces to do something so astronomically dumb, I start questioning reality. Like, did common sense evaporate while I was gone? Y'all couldn't even wait a week before jumping off the deep end again? We've officially hit a new level of foolishness. Like, the rock bottom we thought we hit before? Nah, that was just a ledge on the way down. And honestly, I've given up. No hope left. The sheep behavior is so strong I half expect y'all to start banning in the comments. But anyway, hi, hello, welcome back my chaotic little Rosieries, both day ones and the freshly traumatized. You already know the drill. I rant, you sip tea, we all collectively scream into the void. So do I really need to explain how this goes anymore? Exactly. Let's dive into this hot mess. Alright, let's rip the bandage off. Jennie is not the blueprint. She's not the sewing machine. She's not even the measuring tape. She's just someone who walked into the fashion department, saw what was already hanging on the rack and said, "Ooh, I like that," like the rest of us do. The only difference is that when she wears it, it ends up on Pinterest, Vogue Korea, and the moon. And that's not her fault. That's what happens when you're famous. But let's stop acting like she invented anything. Like, be serious. She didn't create the ribbons, the hairstyles, the tiny tank tops, the whole hot girl does ballet core aesthetic, the makeup, and most importantly, blue skirts. Y'all need to stop getting on my nerves. Most of what y'all credit her for came from Western fashion circles, runway archives, Tumblr, or was literally just looping back from trends we already saw a long time ago. So why is it every time another idol puts on a crop top or a dress or a skirt and does the bare minimum of looking good, y'all jump out screaming, copying Jennie? The delusion is in 4K. And now you're accusing Twice? Twice? The group who's been pulling looks and reinventing girl group eras since pre-Likey? Be so serious. Jennie's popular. That doesn't mean she's the origin. She's a trend amplifier, not a trend inventor. And that's fine. But the witch hunts? Embarrassing. Please log off and touch some vintage fashion books before you drag anyone else. Ugh, waiting for YG to evolve is like waiting for a Nokia brick phone to turn into an iPhone. It's not happening. YG is that one friend who peaked in high school, swears they were prom royalty, and keeps recycling the same outfit from 2013, thinking it's still slaying. Like, bro, it's not giving anymore. Blackpink was their last magic trick, and even that is running on fumes at this point. These days, YG's future plans feel like those fake resumes influencers put on LinkedIn. Big words, zero results. When the CEO opened his mouth to talk about what's next, I leaned in like, maybe, just maybe, they've figured out a new direction. But nah. More hip-hop cosplay. More of the same tired formula. It's like they think adding a bucket hat and a beat drop equals innovation. Let's not play dumb either. YG's sound is a repackaged version of black culture, stripped of soul, polished with K-pop gloss, and handed off to idols who rarely understand the roots of what they're performing. And I'm tired of pretending that's okay. Hip-hop isn't a plug-and-play genre. It's lived, it's raw, and it's best served by the people who created it. So unless YG plans to actually evolve past their outdated playbook and give us something fresh and respectful, they can stay exactly where they are, trapped in a loop of their own mediocrity, whispering swag in 2025 like it still means something. So let me get this straight. Y'all want idols to be relatable, real people, and more than just pretty faces, but the second one of them shows the slightest hint of political awareness, suddenly it's pitchforks and fan edits in grayscale. Karina breathes near a jacket that's black and red, and suddenly she's the devil in Prada. Look, I'm not here to act brand new. Yes, Korea has strict election laws. Yes, idols are advised to avoid party colors, finger signs, even breathing too joyfully near a voting booth. I'm aware. But the same stans who cry every week that idols aren't allowed to be human are the first to throw hands when an idol dares to express something even remotely political. Which one is it? Y'all want free speech or curated mannequins? Now, I'm not saying idols should be immune to criticism. If you put your opinion out there, expect clapback. That's just life. But what Karina got wasn't criticism. It was a witch hunt with zero context and a lot of projection. It's giving, I needed something to be mad at today. And no, I'm not gonna hit you with, it's just a jacket. Because we all know nonverbal cues speak volumes. But let's not act like she committed a war crime either. I swear, some fans have more smoke for a jacket than they do for companies mistreating idols. Maybe I just think different. Or maybe some of y'all just need to log off and touch grass. You ever notice how every idol is so humble, even when they've got more Celine than sense? Like, suddenly being able to blink politely in an interview means they're the reincarnation of Mother Teresa. Which is even worse. Be serious. That idol shucks personality? It's often just great PR, dressed in soft lighting and pastel cardigans. We've somehow convinced ourselves that idols are these ethereal bundles of humility and gratitude, when in reality, it's a finely tuned character arc, scripted tighter than a K-drama. The bowing, the soft-spoken thank yous, the fake crying at encore stages, baby, that's acting. And the Oscars are over there. You think someone who trained for 7 years, eats boiled eggs for dinner, and got 12 stylists adjusting their shoelaces, is gonna just stay humble on their own? Nah. That's a team effort. There's a whole squad backstage reminding them, don't forget to look grateful while holding that trophy you were rigged to win. And the gag is, a lot of the ones who whisper thank you into the mic, like they're auditioning for a Studio Ghibli dub, are the same ones throwing shoes at their staff off camera. Humble where? In the group chat? Look, I'm not saying they're all fake. I'm saying don't fall for the humble aesthetic. Sometimes it's not modesty, it's marketing. And there's a difference between being down to earth and being well rehearsed. Romanticizing humility is cute until you realize it's just another performance. And y'all are clapping for the dress rehearsal. You ever notice how some new idols perform like they found out they were debuting 10 minutes before going on stage? Vocals flatter than a diet soda, choreography shakier than my Wi-Fi during a storm. But somehow, the crowd still goes wild. I'm not even mad at the idols. I'm looking straight at the companies like, oh, you think you're slick, huh? Let's be real. This isn't an accident anymore. This is a strategy. Companies are intentionally debuting idols with weak live skills because they're trying to reset the bar. Like, oh, you thought idols had to sing live and dance well? Silly you. That's Sue 2015. They're conditioning fans to applaud mediocrity. Normalize shaky vocals long enough and suddenly a halfway decent note becomes iconic. And let's be honest, it's efficient. Why spend 3 extra years on vocal training when you can just release a viral TikTok challenge and call it a day? No budget spent on world-class vocal coaches. No stress about vocal strain. Just vibes, pretty faces, and good lighting. The worst part? It's working. Fans are out here defending breathless stages like, they were tired pleading face. Sis, it's their job. If Beyoncé can sing upside down on a flying stage, your fave can at least hit one live note without looking like they're fighting for their life. This industry is slowly tricking us into applauding mediocrity. And baby, I'm not clapping. Try again. Can we stop pretending idols with CEO dads and Pilates certified moms are some kind of Cinderella stories? These people didn't claw their way up from the basement of a Nugu company. They were practically born with vocal coaches and glass skin. Meanwhile, y'all are out here acting like they overcame the odds just because they had to diet once. If your parents can buy you private dance tutors, exclusive audition info, and a dorm that looks like a luxury Airbnb, you're not in the struggle Olympics. You're in the VIP lounge sipping imported matcha while everyone else is eating convenience store ramen and rehearsing in socks with holes. It's wild how fans will bend over backwards to romanticize these idols like they're scrappy survivors. She only got in because she worked harder than everyone else. No, sweetie. She got in because her uncle knows the casting director, and her eyebrows were microbladed by someone flown in from Tokyo. And look, there's nothing wrong with coming from money. But let's stop acting like it's some tragic backstory. Being rich isn't a flaw to overcome. It's a built-in cheat code. And until we acknowledge that, we'll keep giving main character edits to people who started the game with all the power-ups unlocked. Okay, hold up. Julie actually did the unthinkable. A third apology. Live, unscripted. And for once, it didn't sound like it was written by a PR intern being held hostage in the basement of a K-pop agency. She actually addressed the community she offended. And not in the "I'm sorry you felt that way" kind of way. I mean, a real apology. From her mouth. With her whole chest. I'm shocked. I'm impressed. I'm low-key emotional. So thank you, Julie. Genuinely. You didn't double down. You didn't hide behind a vague group statement. And you didn't log off like a ghost after Halloween. You showed up, admitted fault, and apologized like a grown woman. That's rarer in K-pop than idols eating carbs on camera. Now, do I wish the rest of the group would have hopped on live and done the same? Absolutely. Because last time I checked, everyone was in the same video, acting like it was 2005 on Tumblr. But for now, I'm giving credit where it's due. I'm not here to speak for every Black or Latino fan, and reactions will obviously vary. But for me, I can say this: that apology felt sincere. And in an industry built on image and silence, sometimes the loudest thing you can do is just say, "I was wrong." And she did. Respect. Oh honey, some people just never learn, do they? New Jeans, or should I say NJZ, ha 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 ha. I'm just kidding. Thought they could play the rebellious card, but the universe had other plans. Despite multiple court warnings, they decided to go rogue, performing unauthorized activities like they were above the law. Well, the Seoul Central District Court just served them a reality check. Yes, the Seoul Central District Court has ruled that New Jeans can't take on any entertainment gigs on their own or through anyone else unless they get permission from their agency, ADOR. This comes as part of an ongoing legal battle between the group and the agency over the validity of their exclusive contract. On May 30th, 2025, the court sided with ADOR and granted part of their request to keep the current contract in place for now. As part of the ruling, a hefty penalty was introduced. If New Jeans breaks this rule, they'll have to pay ADOR 1 billion Korean won, about $730,000 USD for each violation. On top of that, the group also has to cover the court costs related to this application. I don't feel bad for them. They let their fanbase hype them up, painting themselves as victims while stirring the pot against groups like ILIT. Playing the victim in interviews, they masked their defiance with crocodile tears. But actions have consequences, and the court isn't buying their sob story. This isn't just about a jacket or a dance move. It's about respecting contracts and the legal system. They gambled with their careers, thinking they could outsmart the system. But now they're paying the price, literally. So what's the lesson here? Maybe, just maybe, it's that rebellion without a cause or a solid legal footing can lead to a very expensive downfall. New Jeans wanted to break free, but now they're entangled in a web of their own making. Stay tuned, Rogieries, because this drama is far from over. And remember, always read the fine print before making bold moves. Okay, I've been holding this in, but somebody has to say it before the hit pads get their own debut stage. Yuna, sweetie, you're gorgeous. Stunning. Model tier. But the hit pad obsession? It's starting to feel like a full-blown side quest no one asked for. At this point, her hips are clocking in to work more than some idol's vocals. And listen, this isn't about fashion tricks. We all know a well-placed pad can snatch a dress and shape a silhouette. But when the hip pads are out here making her look like a literal capital P, while her legs are giving toothpick chic, babe. That's not hourglass, that's geometry class confusion. And it's not even shade. It's sadness. Because you can tell this isn't just about style. It's about insecurity. It's about an industry that has girls measuring their self-worth in centimeters. Yuna has a naturally beautiful figure, but she's clearly been convinced it's not enough, unless it fits this hyper-curated, hip-having fantasy that doesn't even exist without editing or surgery. I don't blame her. I blame the system. But I'm tired of watching women shrink their confidence just to look bigger in one area. Unplug the pads, Yuna. You're already enough. You ever hear a new K-pop song and think, wow, I feel like I've tried on a denim jacket to this before? Yeah. That's because half the new releases sound like the soundtrack to a Forever 21 fitting room in 2013. And guess why? Western producers have been seasoning K-pop with the blandest salt possible and calling it global fusion. Some of these Western collabs feel like someone spilled a Spotify algorithm into Logic Pro and called it a day. We went from Korean producers making cultural masterpieces to random LA dudes saying, what if we give your girl group a beat we rejected from a Selena Gomez demo 5 years ago? Like, sir, no one asked for that. K-pop was unique because it wasn't afraid of drama, glitter, noise, or a 5-part song structure that ends in a completely different genre. But now, everything's starting to sound like a watered-down Dua Lipa B-side played through an H&M speaker. It's not about gatekeeping, it's about preserving flavor. Western producers aren't elevating K-pop. They're exporting the bland and calling it a collab. We need the kooky bridges back. We need the beat switch-ups. We need the personality. Because if I hear one more faceless, bass-light girl crush track that sounds like a TikTok ad, I'm throwing my AirPods out the window. Alright, I'm all talked out, so I'm gonna wrap it up here. If you've got thoughts on what I said, drop them in the comments. Let's chat. If you liked the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell Rogieries so you don't miss what's coming next. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Bye!